Welcome back to the final session of this morning. It's one of the most important sessions, in my opinion, of today. We will have a very interesting discussion on Jadeite, that we call Jadeite Jade, but we will discuss also the cultural part of this mineral or aggregate, the scientific arguments behind the nomenclature, not dilemma, but discussion that is currently going on. And we will also discuss terminology and nomenclature. And so I want to introduce to you the moderator of this highly distinguished panel this morning, Jessica Han. She's my Chinese sister. She is representative of the Gemmological Association of Great Britain in Africa and Asia, and she's an honorary member of the ICA due to her huge contribution to the color gemstone industry throughout, we are so young, maybe only 2 or 3 years you have been working. And she's also a mentor of this industry and is like a connection between East and the West, the Chinese market and the European and American market. And actually, the terminology issue that we will discuss today has pretty much to do with that. An Asian product that has been named by Europeans and Westerners in the last couple of centuries. So welcome, and you can introduce now our distinguished panel, and I will be in the audience for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rui, for this amazing introduction and introducing us. And I have to say that with the great compliment you put in there and this great Arabic ambience we have here, it's really bring us the positive energy. And it is our honor to be here with our dearest experts and trade colleagues to have you join this and participating in this introducing and very interesting discussion in previewing and reviewing the international status of a great gemstone variety. This gemmological creation we are focusing on today is so unique. At this moment, I don't have a name to address it yet, because any name to address it would causing a lot of debate on it. And it's very safe to say that this gemmological creation is not only shaping some of the civilizations, but it also forged the ideologies. It always finds its ways, mysteriously appears on some spiritual ceremonies throughout the history. It also, commercially, it's the second largest trading gemstone materials in the gemstone industry. So you can see that we are very passionate about it. So with a great help from ICA, CIBJO, and G.A, we have been putting this amazing panel together to take you guys on a journey of Fei Cui. So please let me start by introducing our great panelists one by one according to their presentation order. The first panelist we have here today is Dr. Edward Liu. Dr. Edward Liu is the chairman of the Gemmological Association of Hong Kong, also a renowned research geologist and gemmologist who has been engaging in studying gem mineral physics and mineral materials. And as a member of G.A, I have to say that we are very honored. And Dr. Liu is also an F.G.A, so what a great news there. And he has been graduated in 1991, and now he's teaching gemmologies. And also, very importantly, he is the specialist and the convener of technical board of the Fei Cui testing method and the laboratory management system development projects. And currently, he is a member of the Fei Cui working group of CIBJO. Our next panelist, Dr. Hanco Zwaan, who is also an F.G.A. And Dr. Hanco Zwaan is the curator of gem and minerals at NBC and the head of Netherlands Gemmological Laboratory. He specializes on a variety of gemmological and mineralogical topics, and he teaches the Netherlands Gem Laboratories education programs in association with Gemmological. Dr. Zwaan is currently the president of CIBJO Gemmological Commission, dealing with nomenclature issues and laboratory testing practice. On behalf of this commission, he's also co-chairing a committee on gem variety names, dealing with variety definitions and trade names. And our third panelist is Mr. Stanley Chow, and who is the managing director of Tung Jewellery, the perpetual honorary president of Hong Kong Jade Association, and the chairman of Enterprise Branding Committee of the Hong Kong General Chamber of Small and Medium Business. Mr. Chow came from a legendary Fei Cui family, famous for its collection. Yeah, I will use this one. And he's from a legendary Fei Cui family, famous for its collections and its business empires. And something is very interesting to point out that Mr. Chow understands the Fei Cui business from the mine to the market. He's not only a fantastic gemstone gemologist, but also he understands about the trendy market of the Fei Cui modernization. So he has been working very closely with Asian and European designers to design the cutting-edge Fei Cui jewelries for the market. So we call him the young pioneer who is also the revolutionist in Fei Cui industry. The last but not the least, we are very honored to have the opportunity to invite Mr. Wong, the managing director of Jadeite Fook, to join us here today as our panelist. Mr. Wong is the chairman of the executive committee of Jewelers and Goldsmiths Association of Hong Kong and a board member of CIBJO. Mr. Wong joined the Jadeite Fook Jewelry Group from 1977, which is quite the early development stage of Jadeite Fook. With his great leadership, Jadeite Fook has become one of the most influential jewelry brands all over the world. Until this year, Jadeite Fook opened more than 7,000 stores all over the world. And the number is growing while we are speaking here. And without further ado, and let's give a round of applause for our panelists. To open our panel today, I would like to give the floor to our leading gemmological research experts, Dr. Liu. Because for the terminology Fei Cui, it's quite interesting to be discussed. So we need to figure out what is the Fei Cui exactly. And Dr. Liu, I understand that you also donated or devoted decades of your study on the international standardization of the terminology of Fei Cui. Could you please explain to us what is Fei Cui exactly and how different it was to the terms we used before? And most importantly, please share with us your vision. So the floor is yours, Doctor.
So forward, backward, yes, the PowerPoint is, which one? This one? Yes, okay, yes. Oh, okay. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the ICA for the invitation, especially to open this Fei Cui panel sections for us. It's my honor to share with you the significance and reasons of adopting the name Fei Cui, the term Fei Cui, and the internationalization of Fei Cui standard. Okay. The Gemmological Association of Hong Kong developed and published the first versions of Fei Cui's testing standard, Jadeite, in the first phase of projects in 2004 for the trade to resolve the head-on issues of the identification of Jadeite, natural Jadeite, one of the members of Fei Cui, and the treatment types, especially at that time, so we faced the chemically treated and resin-impregnated type B Fei Cui, and the treat others, okay, like type C and their mixtures. In 2014, GHK issues the latest complete Fei Cui's standards to cover all members of Fei Cui's Jadeite, omphacite, and kosmochlor, and established the gem testing laboratory management system in accordance with the ISO 17025, consolidating Fei Cui's test in Hong Kong and certified in Hong Kong brain. So the history of naming, the Chinese have been using Jade, Yu, since ancient time. For centuries, Jade has become the most precious stones of Chinese and the symbols of powers and wealth. However, the Chinese have not made the scientific definitions of jade, but confirmed that jade is stone with great beauty. So it was until 1846 and 1863, French mineralogist Alexis Dormo carried out scientific studies of jade from China, and he found that the materials from China consist of two main minerals, two kinds of minerals, and identified as jadeite and nephrite. And he then established the definition of jade, and which is adopted by gemmologists and used in textbook nowadays. However, more Fei Cui deposits and localities have been found and explored in last 130 to nearly 160 years already. And advanced instruments like electron microscope analysis, FTIR, Raman, XRF, X-ray rate diffraction, etc. have been developed. Many research discovered that among the Fei Cui products in the market, especially jadeite, is not the main dominant minerals in some varieties of Fei Cui. Some of them mainly consist of omphacite and kosmochlor. So, chemical analysis also reveals that complete isomorphism not only happens between these three pyroxene minerals, jadeite, omphacite, and kosmochlor. That means isomorphism means part of the chemical elements can be partially or completely replaced by others, like jadeite. Sodium can be replaced by chromium and become more green in color and becomes a kosmochlor. And also that sodium and aluminum can be replaced by calcium and magnesium and becomes omphacite. So it causes many different color. But also the problem is we found that the transition not only in different crystal, but it occurs in chemical zoning in a single crystal. So is jadeite equivalent to Fei Cui? Absolutely not. The concept that jadeite and Fei Cui are identical is therefore no longer valid. It is inadequate and inappropriate, and as jadeite is the name for single minerals, and it cannot be used as the names of complete mineral aggregates. For example, we won't call marbles as calcite, or lazurite cannot be named as lapis lazuli. So, for our standards, in our standard, as a result, the term Fei Cui is suggested to use as a family name under J. That means under J we have Jadeite and nephrite, and under but now we are under J we are Fei Cui and nephrite. Under the family of Fei Cui, it covers 3 members: Jadeite J, omphacite J, and kosmochlor J. So why Fei Cui? As Chinese have been using it as the names of jade materials imported from Myanmar for centuries, and it greatly recognized and accepted by the trade, it is very natural to adopt these trade names, and it also is necessary in scientific studies a more response to the voices of stakeholders, especially the names Fei Cui come from the feather, the billions colors of feathers of a bird. The red, Fei means red in color, Cui means green. Nowadays, the definition of Fei Cui is united with the trade description audience of Hong Kong and also the national standards of China. I don't want to go through the whole audience, but you know that, we have the trade description audience, so we have to follow the law. And since the complex and heterogeneous natures of Fei Cui, sometimes it makes the mineral recognitions difficult. So in the newly revised Fei Cui testing standard in Hong Kong, certified gemmologists are only required to perform qualitative tests. That means that they only have to use the Fei Cui as conclusions, used as a conclusion if the test pieces consist mainly 1 or more of the 3 major Fei Cui minerals. The internationalization of Fei Cui standard. Between 2018 to 19, several conferences and seminars on Fei Cui and Fei Cui standard were organized by GHK during the Hong Kong Jewellery International Gem Shows. We are honored to have CIBJO's president, Dr. Gaetano Caffarini, address those seminars. And he mostly emphasized on the importance of harmonization of standards, terminology, and testing the methods for trade development. So after that, he kindly invited us to attend the CIBJO Congress Berlin in 2019 and open a special sections of Fei Cui for us to discuss the nomenclatures of Fei Cui. As CIBJO's president, Dr. Gaetano Caffarini said in his opening speech of the Congress, after diamond, Fei Cui make up the most variable products sectors in our worldwide industry. And during the special sections, Mr. Ken Wong and I did an exhaustive explanation on the definitions, histories, markets, and scientific research studies of Fei Cui, and the response is positive. And many CIBJO's members expressed their surprise at the size of Fei Cui's market, which is estimated more than $8 billion, making Fei Cui the world's largest gem categories after diamonds. So in 2020, I was invited by Ruri, where's Ruri? Yes. As a guest speaker in the home gemmologist webinars supported by CIBJO's to further discuss on the nomenclatures of Fei Cui after the Congress. And if you want to learn more about it, you may go, visit his YouTube channels, and then you will know more about it. In April 2021, just a moment, GHK also established and launched a Fei Cui standard website. And if you are interested in those standards, you may download it, especially the Fei Cui standard, this one, the Fei Cui standard in English and also in Chinese, and also some others, CPD guidance and and the management systems, ISO standard, and can be free downloads in this website. And in this event, we have a chance to meet all industry advisors and many nationals, internationals, gemmologists, experts online to discuss on the further development of Fei Cui standard. In July of the same year, GHK organized an important conference at the Hong Kong TTC International Jewellery Show in promoting the internationalization of Fei Cui standard. And apart from presentation and discussion, there are two important issues. One is the signings of MOU between GHK and GIT. GIT should be somewhere. Yes, here. Yes, yeah. GIT to collaborate on the implementation of standardization of Fei Cui according to the Fei Cui standard. And we are happy to see that the first Jade and Fei Cui standard of Thailand has been complete and was launched in early last year and used the GHK Fei Cui standard as the main reference. So this is the Fei Cui and Jade standard of GIT. And the other one is CIBJO's president, Dr. Gaetano's Gaffarinis, announced that Fei Cui's working groups has been set up, which include some senior officials of CIBJO's and GHK. And in this working group, will be chaired by him. So this international standard, we are still working on it. So Fei Cui, as a carrier of Chinese jade culture, it occupies a very important market share in the East. We believe that there are many advantages of the internationalization of Fei Cui's standards to the trade, gem laboratories, markets, jewelry design, and others. So these standards is essential to the global jewelry industry, especially in traders and customers' perceptions and understandings the content of the Fei Cui testing report. So we believe that only by adopting a unified naming, the trade and customers will be benefit from it. And we foresee that Fei Cui will be listed in the CIBJO Blue Books, and the Fei Cui testing standard can be the driving force to make it becoming worldwide recognized and accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for your great sharing with us, and especially the work you have been done on the international standardization on these terms has been marvelous. And I understand, and it's also a great pleasure that we have seen a lot of effort has been put into this subject by CIBJO. So I think that is a great opportunity to bring up the trade consensus. Dr. Hanco Zwaan, as the president of the Gemmological Commission, could you please share with us, with our audience, about what and how CIBJO is viewing the term Fei Cui, and what is the current development of Fei Cui international standardization, and in which direction CIBJO actually advising us to do? Thank you.
Thank you very much. CIBJO, as you already mentioned, started a committee on varietal names just to try to make a list of varieties and trade names, because there are many, and we know the mineral names that are accepted, especially by the International Mineralogical Association, the IMA, but the IMA would never deal with mineral varieties, actually. And as gem traders and gemmologists, we constantly deal with these varieties. So we try to make a list and make some basic definitions, and we also look at boundaries and borderline cases. And well, in this committee there is a group of gemmologists and gem traders, but it is really the vision to, for each individual topic, we have to invite specialists to this committee to look into the issues. And I think this term, Fei Cui, fits very nicely in this committee, and we would like to discuss and we would like to deal with it. So to answer your questions, I will first give some considerations, I think. And so what we think, because the first thing what we did after establishing this committee was conducting a survey on the term Fei Cui among stakeholders all around the world to see what their opinion was regarding Fei Cui. And well, we got many responses and many different opinions. Some agreed with the position of the Hong Kong Gemmological Association, and others would say, no, we strictly adhere to the term Jadeite jade as Fei Cui, and others would say, well, that's only green imperial jade. So there were some different opinions on that. Well, yeah, which direction? If you think about harmonization of nomenclature, yeah, there are some considerations to make, I think. One is that nephrite and jadeite were considered to be jade, and as Edwards showed the definition, I think this idea, this old idea, is based on two things. That these nephrite and jadeite are both very different minerals, but they have something in common, and that is their exceptional toughness as materials, and they have a similar appearance. When you look at the position of the Laboratory Harmonization or Manual Harmonization Committee, which is a committee of a few labs, or a few important labs, I would say, who regularly discuss issues, nomenclature, and they came up with a sheet, information sheet, many years ago, and they actually mentioned that they consider to be jade as a trade name that encompasses jadeite and nephrite only. So they would give the option to call nephrite and jadeite jade, and just to call the other minerals as what they are, omphacite and kosmochlor. In the meantime, that having said that, there were also publications like the one, a F.G.A. publication came out by Shane McClure, and he actually recognized that a lot of the jadeites they were testing, the green jadeites they were testing, by standard gemmological testing were actually indistinguishable from the green jadeite. And so the RI would be, the refractive index would be the same, the spectrum would be the same, the SG would be the same. So then you had no objective means to distinguish between the two, jadeite and omphacite. So it was felt that that particular quality would actually qualify as jade. So that was actually a way to expand the term jade into omphacite jade. But on the other hand, there are many rock types, and maybe outside of northern Burma, say, And those rock types consist of omphacite as well, but they contain other minerals like garnet, like chlorite. And those are high-grade metamorphic rocks, actually, but they underwent some natural processes, which we call retrograde metamorphic reactions, so that you get chlorite in there as well. And these rocks actually are not the same quality jade we are talking about, but these rocks are really, nearly as tough. And although they contain omphacite, it's a different material we look at. Also, when you look at kosmochlor, I think worldwide there's an association. When you say kosmochlor, it's strongly associated with mawsit, which we know as a rock composed of kosmochlor in varying amounts, but also amphiboles and chlorite and feldspar and other chromite, other minerals like that. So it's a beautiful material and it has a quality in its own right, but the properties are slightly different from the jades we are looking at. So there is an area of discussion perhaps and looking into this. And of course, there are also materials which are perhaps jade related, but they contain other minerals as well. So they contain, for instance, you have white jadeite, but there is a lot of albite in there as well, for instance. Or you have the so-called Turkish jade, which contains a lot of quartz as well. So to the extent that you wonder what should we call this material? Is it jadeite-bearing quartzite, perhaps? Well, that's something different than jade. So we need to look at the boundaries. So where are the boundaries exactly of what is acceptable to be called jade? And maybe we have to look at a practical way to kind of estimate the volume percentages of these minerals that are present. Well, all these questions lie on the table. And but if you really want to move towards harmonization, I think we really need to look into this kind of questions. So as far as CIBJO goes, well, after the pandemic, we need to continue with this. But I think so far we are talking about the provisional statement, but we should really continue the discussions. But this provisional statement would say that Fei Cui is an Asian trade name, which may be spelled and pronounced differently depending on the particular Asian country. And it's understood to be, well, to be used as a term for Jadeite jade, but also in the sense of the Hong Kong Gemmological Association is suggesting also in a way that includes omphacite and kosmochlor. But as it is a trade name, we feel now, I think there's a kind of consensus that it's vital that if the name Fei Cui is used in sales, that it shall be clearly stated which minerals are or is referred to. And also it's important to realize that when the term Fei Cui is used, that it doesn't indicate the presence nor the absence of any treatment. So that's also important. I think that's just my short contribution so far. And
thank you very much, Doctor. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Hanco Zwaan. And as the saying goes, that the Rome wasn't built in a day. So I believe the internationalization of the standards on Fei Cui terminology will take us quite a lot of work. Many thanks again to the great works has been done by CIBJO. Thank you very much. And So now, let's put the more scientific point of view away for a little while, and let's look at the marketplace. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Stanley Chu to present to us where we are commercially in the high-end Fei Cui trading market. Mr. Chu, as the younger generation from the Fei Cui royal family, which I call that, that you are not only shouldering the responsibility to maintaining the tradition of the solidarity of the Fei Cui community, but also to build a shared future for it. So could you please share with us and how important this standard harmonization is to you and to your brand? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It gives me great honor to be here today sharing with you some of my experience on high quality Fei Cui jade. And I want to especially thank ICA for giving me this opportunity. And also, I want to especially thank Mr. Evan Kaplan, who introduced me to ICA and this Congress a few months ago. Thank you so much. So, first thing I want to start talking about a little bit background of Fei Cui industry in China and Hong Kong. As you know, the jade market is mainly from China and Hong Kong, so I'm gonna quickly go through this. So the Fei Cui industry in Hong Kong has been began shortly after the World War II and began to boom in the 1960s. Most people enter the industry by learning how to become a jade carver. At that time, most Fei Cui being sold at the jade market were relatively lower quality items. So this is the old jade market in Hong Kong, that, as you can see. And during the 1970s and 80s, the economy in Hong Kong began to grow exponentially. The demand for high quality Fei Cui jade also increased. And since the early 90s, China's economy followed along and also began to grow. Due to the high domestic sales in jade in China, the major trading market for finished jade Fei Cui products have moved from Hong Kong to mainland China. And since then, China has become the biggest Fei Cui market in the world. Hong Kong, being the most international cities in China, is now more focused in international jewelry and also high-end Fei Cui jade trading. Major auction houses such as Christie's and Sotheby's have stationed in Hong Kong for almost 50 years and still put their most important jewelry and Fei Cui lots in their Hong Kong auctions. So how to evaluate the price of Fei Cui jade? You all know diamonds have 4 C's, and in Fei Cui jade, there are 6 categories. Not standardized, but it's easier for you guys to understand. First, variety or texture, or we can refer to the class of the jade rough. Number 2 is the transparency, also called translucency of the Fei Cui. 3 is the color. Jade color has green, yellow, red, purple, colorless, and black. And of course, the most expensive color is green. And number 4 is the cutting or craftsmanship. 5, flaws, or you can also call it purity. And 6 is the volume. Volume meaning the size of the Fei Cui jade itself. So there are 8 types of major variety or textures, or you can call class of high quality Fei Cui jade. I'm not going through every single one here, but I will talk about 2 top varieties. The best variety is the glassy variety, and in China we call it 玻璃种. It is the rarest variety among all Fei Cui jade, and it is of very high transparency, and you cannot see any crystal grains inside. So it looks as transparent as glass, and that's how it got its names. You can see there colorless Fei Cui jade pendant here, and also a imperial green glassy type Fei Cui pendant right here. Number 2 is the IC variety. characteristics of its texture, transparency, and appearance are similar to an ice, and that's how it got the name. And the texture is very fine and delicate with high density and high transparency. So here you see 6 Fei Cui Jade cabochon that are of similar color but different transparency. The upper left corner one, as you can see, is not so translucent all the way to the lower right corner, which is very translucent. So the most expensive one is, of course, the lower right corner. It could be 100 times more expensive than the least translucent one. So you can see the transparency or the translucency of a Fei Cui Jade is very critical. And these are the slides just to show you the colors of Fei Cui Jade. So there are many, many colors. The most popular ones, popular color is, of course, green in China market. And there are also many tones of green. And next to the green, we have purple. Purple is also second popular in the jade market. And the least popular ones are the red, yellow, and colorless, and black. So what to pay attention when buying Fei Cui Jade? First, you have to really like it, and don't just focus on the return on investment. Secondly, you have to aim for the best within your budget. Let's say you have $100,000 to invest in jade or to buy jade. I would suggest you to buy one piece of jade that is 100 grand instead of 2 or 3 pieces that are least expensive. Because the rarer the jade is, the higher the appreciation potential. And quality is more important than quantity. And you should go to reputable jewelers or auction houses. So more reputable jewelers like Chow Fook, of course. You can go get jade from them. And of course, the most important thing is to get the Fei Cui Jade testing report from reputable laboratories, like Hong Kong's Jade and Stone Laboratory Limited in Hong Kong, NGTC in China, or even Western laboratory like GIA, SSEF, Goblin. They also provide jade testing reports. So this is how a jade Fei Cui testing certificate looks like. You have to pay attention at the bottom, which says it's natural. Natural is very important. Anything treated doesn't worth anything. So it's kind of different from other colored gemstone industry. So which category of Fei Cui Jade is best for investment? Is it bangle, cabochon, or pendant? So I want to talk about a little bit more about the jade roughs in Myanmar or Burma. 75% of the jade rough is cut for bangles. And 20% of the jade rough is cut into pendants or beads. And only 5% of the jade rough is cut into cabochon. Does that mean cabochon is the best investment jade? Yes and no, because it cannot be determined by just the category. It also depends on the quality and rarity of the Fei Cui Jade itself. And to me, the high quality cabochon and full green color Fei Cui Jade bangle is the first choice of investment. Here I want to show you one of my collection here. It's a 142 karat imperial green Fei Cui Jade cabochon. The color is very beautiful and intense, very vivid, and the size is magnificent, 142 karat. And this pendant is not for sale, but if you are interested to see it, I welcome you to come to Hong Kong, and I'm happy to show you this pendant. This is a typical full color Jadeite bangle, Fei Cui bangle, I'm sorry. And the Fei Cui Jade bangle weighs 299 carats, and it's approximately 53 millimeter diameter. And it's got Hong Kong Jade and Stone Laboratory certificate stating that this is a natural Fei Cui Jade. And also this is a very beautiful 54.9 carat Fei Cui Jade cabochon. And also, welcome to come to Hong Kong, and I'm happy to show you. And this is a imperial green Fei Cui Jade bead necklace. It comprises of 45 very beautiful, vivid color green beads. And the largest bead is approximately 13.2 millimeter, and the smallest one is 12.1 millimeter. And also, this one is not for sale, but I'm happy to show you. And the question here I want to raise is Fei Cui Jade undervalued in the Western world? Here, this is the only graph that I prepared, and I think it's pretty important. And it shows the highest auction record for diamonds and precious gemstones and price per carat, not the whole piece. As you can see, the highest auction record for pink diamond, which was sold last year at Sotheby's, the 11-carat pink diamond, was sold for 5.2 million US dollars per carat. So this is the per carat price, it's not the whole stone. The whole stone was, I think, is 50 million or 51 million US dollars. And ruby, the highest auction record is $1.2 million per carat. For emerald, it's 300,000 US dollars per carat. White diamond, 260,000 per carat. Sapphire, 240,000 per carat. And Fei Cui is only 120,000 per carat. And this Fei Cui that was sold was a top quality imperial green Fei Cui cabochon. To me, it's just as rare as the pink diamond, or just as rare as the nicest ruby in the world. So I think Fei Cui is still undervalued in the Western world. And here I want to show you a few pieces, important pieces of the auctioned pieces of Fei Cui Jade. So this is a very famous Barbara Hutton Midivani necklace, which was sold for 27.4 million US dollar at Sotheby's Hong Kong in 2014. And this is a full green Fei Cui Jade bangle, which was sold for 7.6 million US dollar, which was equivalent to almost 60 million Hong Kong dollars. At Poly Auction Hong Kong during the spring auction in 2017, you can see this, the whole bangle was very translucent, and the color is beautiful, very vivid, and the texture is very fine. And it comes with a Gublin report stating that this is a type A Jadeite jade, and also SSEF report saying that this is a Fei Cui type A jade. So I think the standardization is very important for us because, you know, back in the days, a few years back, people still, some labs, they would issue Jadeite and some labs issue Fei Cui. So SSCF gemstone report looks like this. Yeah, and as you can see, it says Fei Cui type A. And the last piece here is the Imperial Green Fei Cui Jade and Diamond Pendant, which was sold for 46 million Hong Kong dollars, almost 6 million US dollars at Poly Auction in Hong Kong in 2016. And also comes with the Gublin report. And also it says that it is an Imperial Jade type A. So this is the end of my presentation. I'm so honored to be here. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer right now or after the presentation. And I welcome you to Hong Kong so I can show you more nice pieces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stanley, for this amazing presentation, sharing all this information with us. And those pictures that he shared is amazing, right? And I'm assuring you that the real pieces is even more breathtaking. So if any of you coming to Hong Kong show after this trip, please get in touch with Stanley, and you will be able to have a closer up appreciation of those pieces. Thank you very much. And now let me have the honor to invite our final speaker of today, Mr. Kent Wong. Mr. Wong, To us, you are the best person to talk about the retail market because your successful retail brand has many past achievements and also maintaining a global vision. And in the past pandemic era, your sales figure actually reaches record high, and you also had a new chapter on the online sale. So we would like to hear from you about the jewelry retail market and the Fei Cui market from your perspective, and also how important this nomenclature and terminology issue is important to you and your business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Kind word. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my privilege again. I have sharing within the ICA conference. First of all, I thank you, Stanley, give us a very clear and detailed introduction about Fei Cui. Definitely, Stanley is an expert, especially in high value Fei Cui. So do come to Hong Kong, visit his show, his booth. And then in return, I would like to share some Fei Cui market in China, especially mass market. Okay. Okay. How to flash this one? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I have another role. I am the market Fei Cui standard advisor in market implementation. Very important is that the gemmologists, they passed away, right, to identify or the Fei Cui in terms of testing method and testing standard, so that our consumer had no doubt they would buy the right product within the market. So I think this is my role, how I can help at the Fei Cui standard, GA Hong Kong, not only use their knowledge, but use my knowledge, tell the story to the consumer, right? I think that is important. Show you some data. Okay. This one. Okay. Even though everybody should agree in the past 2 years, when the market has been struggled by pandemic and some other economic issues around the world. Business is difficult, it's not easy. Of course, as a whole in China in the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021, which is challenging. The GDP we had, even though it's positive growth, but a record load in the past, compared with in the past 10 years. However, according to the national statistic of China, the consumption 2021, the data come out, which is a kind of 12.2% increase compared to 2020. Another good news, which is according to the Gem and Jewelry Trade Association of China, the statistic of 2021 jewelry industry have a kind of 18% growth compared to 2020. Of course, low base. 2020 compared with 2019, we only have flat. Okay, so 2 years CAGR growth is a kind of nearly 5%. So that is the data. Okay, and Fei Cui, we can see, compare with the general market, it has a kind of 11%. As we say, 18% growth, 2021. Fei Cui has a 11% growth. Why? I think the majority of 2021, the gold jewelry in the market contribute the most to the growth. And however, other color gemstone, okay, ruby, sapphire, emerald, has a kind of 5%. So you can see among color gemstone, Fei Cui is still the #1 contribution to our color stone sales. Actually, give you some data. Diamond is talking about contribute about nearly 14% of the revenue of China. Fei Cui also have a kind of the same contribution, 14. That means Diamond and Jade, they have the same kind of market share in China. I think, on the other hand, I think color stone, we have big opportunity for further growth in the future if we continue to promote the story of color stone, just like Polydor, right? Okay, so why is that? I think, help you understand, I think China is one of the country around the world which is adopting digital platform. You know, most advanced online platform like Alibaba, JD.com, because the fast development of our digital infrastructure and also what we call online sales solution. Now today, the biggest group of buyer in general, jewelry, which is millennial, born 1990, okay? And second group of people, which is what we call middle class or middle income group. Talking about today, today is a kind of 400 million population drop into this level. So we imagine that in the coming 10 years, this group of people will be our important buyer of jewelry. So tap to these kind of young people, their behavior, because they like 70% of the time they spend with the mobile, okay? Checking, buying, they can do anything, okay, within the mobile. So even payment, right, today, all they have to do, open the mobile, search what they want, and click to buy, click to pay, and they wait within the home for, to receive the product. So based on this infrastructure, so Fei Cui has a fast development in online channel. Today, I think the biggest market share in general, Fei Cui, which is sell through online channel. And within the online channel, which is not the traditional Alibaba, JD.com, not. Actually, live streaming, okay? Just like TV sales in US, in TV channel. But in fact, those KOL, or okay, they can sell the product through the mobile, and then through, especially through live streaming. So very fast, they can sell the product. The Jade cut in the factory, and then they move to the live streaming room, and then they sell. Okay, so but the important is that how they can believe the product they buy, which is authenticity, right? That is the question. So before, I mean, long time, as Stanley say, if you buy important jewelry, you go to reputed jeweler, okay, or auction house. Yes, important. But mass market, say talking about sell through online from $100 a piece to maybe $10,000 a piece, they can sell through online. How they can build confidence? Thanks to the certification. In China, the government, in order to enhance the buying experience, to build confidence, actually the jewelry industry invests a lot of money into education. Educate people, educate talent within the industry. Say NGTC, which is one of the biggest, most important certification entity, but there are a lot of qualified gemmologists within the country. So every piece of Fei Cui they buy in the market, no matter physical store, online, they can get a certificate. And that certificate, which is cost effective. which is really important, right? If it is an important jewelry, you will ask a very famous certificate, a laboratory to give you a certificate. But for general market, actually, why use of local knowledge? I mean, local lab. But however, they have a universal, national-wide standard. Okay, that is. And then, next thing I would like to share, what is the future opportunity? Okay, because of, I say, young people, middle income class become an important group. So I suggest enhance in design driven product. Say East culture mixed with West culture, okay? Targeting to the young people. Second, beautiful, which is why not we mix with other gemstone, color stone, pearl, okay? So I think, as you can see, very contemporary and variable product. And then, not only talking about the design, but I would like to introduce you a new opportunity for our business industry globally. China, in 2018, the government launched a province in southern part of a kind of 1 hour flight from Hong Kong to Highland Island. Actually, it's a province, okay? 2018, the government say, okay, then launch a program, a free trade port policy granted to Highland province. As you know that, the China government pitched to further open up the market, open up the investment to the world. So this is the right step to get opportunity, to invest in China. So this is 2018, and then until 2021, what we call free trade port law is launched and adopted. And the law make it short, okay? Actually, it's talking about trade free, okay? Import tax 0 to China into this area, okay? The whole province, okay? And then, second, investment liberalization. Open investment to all countries. Third, simple taxation. Today, if you buy in Highland, you can buy a tax-free product in a duty-free shop. After 2025 or February 2026, the whole island, whenever you buy everything, which is tax-free. The tax which is simplified. We don't use VAT, not so complicated as today in mainland China, but another kind of system, just like Dubai, a kind of GAT. So I don't want to take too long to describe this information, but please go to this website. This is the government website. I hope that you can spend some time to look into what happened with that. But important is that Highland today, traveler last year, 2021, 81 million traveler. Mainly, most of them are Chinese traveler, okay, from mainland. And now today, every Chinese citizen, whenever they visit Highland, when they leave the Highland Island, they have a kind of really $1,500 tax, no, $15,000 tax-free quota. Tax-free quota. So, 2021, duty-free store sales exceeds $60 billion. Huge opportunity. So, this is the end of my presentation. Once again, thank you. All the Gemmologists, hardworking, make Fei Cui standard become a universal recognized standard. Important is that the right name not only in China, globally, could help the global industry promote more color gemstone opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for Mr. Wong's amazing sharing with us. And I believe from his presentation, and we get a lot of confidence in the Fei Cui market, in the jewelry market, and also in the Chinese jewelry retail market. So I believe Mr. Wong is the go-to person if any of you were interested to enter that Asian market to give it a try. And I believe there could be more interactions with Mr. Wong afterwards. And I have to add a little bit regarding on the Chinese policy and the Chinese governmental changes at the moment. The thing is that for the nationwide, we are more open and we are welcoming and open our doors to all the possible investors and to really try to enter Chinese market through different special zones, which the government is supported right now, or one of that is the Hainan province, as what Mr. Wang shared with you. And also we have other amazing exchanges all over China for different purposes, for different variety of products. So I believe there could be more discussion after this panel. And I believe we still have quite a few more times over here to cater some questions from the audience. So if there's any questions from the audience, could you please raise up your hands? Oh, yes, please. Ella, please. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Elle Hill from Hill & Co. We're fine jewelry, diamond, and gemstone launch and growth experts. I have a question about what the perceived value of Fei Cui versus Jade will be and how this affects the value of existing inventory for businesses, retailers, and traders.
And may I ask, is there any particular panelist that you would like to direct your question to, or?
I think I'm directing it to Kent.
First of all, Fei Cui, as Stanley already introduced, how to identify the quality of Fei Cui is important. There's 6 categories, right? So in fact, more than 10,000 kind of mix of Fei Cui quality according to that 6 category. So you need to have a well-trained people, just like the family more than 50 years over. So you have to learn, to study. I mean, practice is important. You know, the more you can see, the more you can understand the pricing system. I think that is important. And then second, I think, in fact, also when you sell product, not only grading, but you must sell the product with passion, storytelling, design. I think you are not selling a just commodity. You sell a happiness to the consumer. So I think actually, Fei Cui, we always talking about top quality product, just like Stanley. And Jade is a common term only. So I think, as we say in online sales, we tell the customer this is Fei Cui. They all know what is that. They understand because the name was so popular and widely recognized within the market. Yeah.
Thank you for the question. And can we have one more? Yes, please, Doctor. Oh, so we're catering this question first and then come to you, Doctor. Okay.
I'm Imtizam from Gem Paradise, Sri Lanka. And I would like to ask, like, in Hunan, like, are you all going to adopt the same policies as Hong Kong, or like it's going to be a little different? And also, I would like to ask whether, in Hunan, whether you are allowed to buy an office outright, because in Hong Kong you are allowed to buy property. So in Hunan, how would be the procedure, like if you're starting up a business?
I believe that question
Is
also
Mr.
directed
Yeah,
to our
Wong.
Mr. Wong.
Excuse me, you said you asked how to set up the business in Hong Kong. Oh, Highland, okay. Actually, I'm an advisor of the Highland government in developing a free trade port in in jewelry industry. Okay, so the concept of the Highland policy, which is learn from Hong Kong. Okay, Hong Kong is one of the most successful free trade port around the world. So learn from Hong Kong, no matter our law system, no matter our business concept, and also our international relationship. So today, you can buy, when you open you can open your office in Highland, self-owned today, for even foreigner. It's not an issue. They set up a Highland International Business Development Council. And this council, they have this office in Hong Kong. So I'm welcome if you take interest. I mean, the representative in Hong Kong would give you a one-on-one kind of consultation or group consultation. Okay?
I
Thank
hope
you.
that answered your question, right?
Yes. And also, I would like to ask whether, are you allowed to buy property in Hunan, same like in Hong Kong?
I like to do business in Highland rather than to buy a flat. But actually, the island is beautiful. The weather is same as Hawaii. Okay, it's called Orient Hawaii, and a property is very expensive still. I can tell you when you want a stunning sightseeing, yeah. But I think important is that it's not the government very clear. Highland free trade policy is not talking about property development. It is talking about global free trade zone, and also the government identified Highland. I mean, in the future, it should be a global jewelry supply chain hubs, a place for B2C, as you say. As you see, 81 million traveler from mainland China. This is good place for B2C. And I forget to share with you in the duty-free shop, top 3 most sellable product, which is jewelry is the top one of the top 3 most sellable item within the island. Okay, within the duty-free shop today. So I suggest you buy the property. Yeah, that's good, but open your business.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. And the next question goes to Dr. Post.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Jeff Post. So I noticed, Stanley, in your list of the various criteria for how you are valuing the jade or the Fei Cui, is that I noticed you didn't list geographic origin. So is the assumption that all of this comes from one place, or do you see a time when jadeite or similar materials from other localities might in fact start challenging the quality of that material, and therefore geographic origin could become a factor in deciding what the value of some of these pieces might be?
Thank you, Dr. Post. For the past 60 years, when my father started his business 60 years ago, we have been trading only Burmese Fei Cui. So in my mind, only top quality Fei Cui jade is all from Myanmar or Burma. But of course, recent years, for the past 10 years, we have seen Fei Cui from other parts of the world, which is not too bad in quality. Some are very nice in color. For example, jade from Guatemala, which is also very vivid green. They come in smaller size, not too big, but they are very vivid, very green, and also very translucent. And also, there are some other parts of the world which produce Fei Cui Jade. Just like I met Nick, who is in mining business in Kazakhstan, also Fei Cui Jade. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. So for origin, in terms of origin, I'm not too. I don't really see a need. I don't really see a need to specify the origin right now until we see more and more products coming from other parts of the world.
Wow, there's quite a lot of questions. I may have time to catering for 2 more questions. Yes, please.
Test. Doug Hucker. I think I'll direct this to Stanley. 2 years ago, pre-COVID, I was at a major trade show, and I saw unquestionably the most spectacular collection of Fei Cui I've ever seen. But what I was curious about, one of the things about our market in the United States is that jade is not as popular, but many jewelers, especially high-end jewelers, are looking for opportunities there. And they were selling the jade on fractional selling, which is something I've not seen in the gemstone kingdom anywhere. And I wonder if you could comment on the wisdom, the understanding of how that is approached. And I don't know whether Stanley, you're the best, or Kent, but it was something I've never seen. But some of those jewelers don't have $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 to invest in a single piece of jade. But fractional selling was something that just seemed entirely new. And I thought I might get your comments on that.
I think because there's no standardization still for Fei Cui Jade. So the 6 categories that I mentioned was just what I interpret. But some people have 8 categories or even 10 or 11, and I think it all comes to how the market perceived a piece of jade or Fei Cui, and if you have the money to invest, I suggest you to buy something which is nicer in quality first, and the pricing system you just have to learn by you just have to look more, to explore more, to understand more, in order to know the price, and there's no shortcut, there's no 4 C's yet. So.
I would like to further add on. Fei Cui grading or pricing system is very difficult, because no 2 pieces of Fei Cui look like the same. And however, my company, we try to systemize the category, as Stanley says, 6 category. And then, but because more than tens of thousands of combinations for a piece of Fei Cui jewelry, so you have to learn a very long time. But I guess if we can work together in use of technology like AI, actually, you can say like transparency, we can in use of AI to learn. I think that is possible, but it would take a long time. I think one of the burden why Fei Cui only popular in Hong Kong and China, because we have long history in touch with this important colored gemstone, not in the West. But I think if we can standardize, use technology, I think the market would much bigger. And I agree, Stanley, that today the Fei Cui high quality Fei Cui still undervalued, as you can see in the auction house. Yeah, that is opportunity.
Thank you. And we have one more question over here.
Hi, thank you for that discussion. That was very interesting. My name is Richa. I'm from Singapore. I'm a journalist. And last year, I'd written an article on jade jewelry for Vogue Singapore. The topic was featuring contemporary jewelry designers who are using jade in creating pieces for the younger generation. My question is directed to Kent and to Stanley. One of the things that emerged during my research, and I was speaking with jewelry designers not just in Singapore but also in Hong Kong and in China, and the interesting sort of thing that I stumbled across was that they said that a certain segment of the younger jewelry buyers are gravitating towards cabochon emeralds because they feel that in the really high quality, it's quite expensive. And when they look at a cabochon emerald, they find that it is in some ways reflective of the visual appeal of high quality cabochon jade. And also in some respects, they like the idea that they're wearing something which is not the same thing as what their auntie is wearing. And I was wondering, given that both of you have the immense sort of retail experience, what is your point of view on these two things that I observed? Thank you.
Let me ask the question. As Jade has a big variety in terms of quality, and the price is big range, okay? Say glassy, high transparency should be very expensive. But however, 99%, which is medium or low quality, or translucent, okay? That's why it make it so difficult to make it standardized. The problem is if we cannot standardize, because if we can standardize the quality so that we can promote in collection, so that we can widely replicate the market, right, into the market, that is the big challenge. And that's why Fei Cui is an art piece, is not a commodity piece. But I think how we can introduce the product to the young millennial, I think we need to mix it with some, say, color gemstone, especially pearl, and make it contemporary, plus marketing. I think is important. Say, young celebrity, they wear the product. Young KOL, they wear the product everywhere. I think that is something for the industry. We need to work together to give public another sense of our Fei Cui, even low price, but still very attractive, very contemporary. And that's, we have to continue hard working to promote in the market.
Thank you very much. And I believe that is all the time we have for today. And if there are more questions and topics you would like to discuss, we're not going anywhere. We stay in Dubai. So let's have more chat afterwards. And let me conclude by saying that it's a great honor for me to moderate for you in Dubai. And this is a fantastic premium international cooperation platform from ICA. We really appreciated this opportunity. And you, as my audience, are the trade leaders, and you have the duty to really recalibrate the trade directions and the global governance. So let's work together jointly for even more better future for all of us. Thank you very much for your participation, and thank you to our panelists. Wish you have a great stay in Dubai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Actually, I was expecting more questions about the challenges for laboratories to study those aggregates where you can have omphacite on one side and jadeite on the other side. And I was expecting more technical questions. but this is not lab people, you are trade people. So the questions were orientated, of course, to Ken and Stanley, and you guys didn't respond to anything anyway. But in the lunchtime, I will ask you a few things. Thank you very much for being here. I will ask you please to stay on stage so we can take a group photo. That would be nice. And now we have the last presentation before lunch, which is me saying lunchtime. Please be here at 2:30 sharp, otherwise you will hear the bell, and I will try to put you with my big body into the room. So enjoy lunch, and please stay here. Clément Sabag, please, can you join us on stage for a group photo?